In this video, I'm going to review with you how to insert a button into your PowerPoint project and have that button act as a link to another slide. In this example, I'm going to start by inserting a shape that looks like a button. To insert a shape, remember you come up to the Insert tab above. You click on Shapes. This brings up all the shapes available to you. For buttons, I often like to use the rounded rectangle. So I'm going to click on that. Notice my mouse pointer is now a blinking X. I just left click, drag, and hold it out and go out to there. And in this case, I'm going to say go to California, which is another slide in my presentation. I click off, and there I have my shape with the text ready to become a linked button. The next thing I want to do is create the actual link to the other slide. So I'm going to come to the edge of my button and do a right click. You know you have the button clicked when you see those pearly handles on the side of the button. And I'm going to come down on the menu and pick Hyperlink. The Insert Hyperlink window comes up. If you don't see the slides in this window, it probably means you have to click the bookmark button right here. You click that and you find the slide that you want. I happen to want slide 2, California, so I'm going to click that and click OK, and then OK once more. Now, I can't really test my hyperlink unless I'm in the PowerPoint show itself, so I'm going to come down here and select the button to start the PowerPoint show. I see my button, and you can see now there's that kind of pointed finger on the button. I click that, and it goes to California, exactly where I wanted it to head. To get back to my project, I just simply hit Escape. Just a word of caution, when you're creating a link from this shape with the text in it, make sure you're going to right click on the outside of the shape or towards the outer rim so you get that solid line around the shape. If you don't, if you right click, let's say I'm going to right click on the word to. First of all, look at the button shape. It has a dotted line. It means I'm in this text area. And if I put my hyperlink at this point in, as I did before, notice that the word to has a hyperlink type text. This means the whole button won't be the hyperlink, only the word to, and that's not what I want. Easy to take care of. You just do the undo button and then right click on the outside so you get the solid line and continue from there. Now I have a button that works and it does exactly what I need it to do, but I don't really like the look of it very much, so I'm going to change both the look and color of the button and the text within the button. Let's first start by the look of the button itself. Remember, the button is simply a shape. When I click, I'm going to left click on the button. When I do this, you'll see a Format tab appear up above. You click on the Format tab to display what's available. My favorite section is the Shape Style section. I begin over on the left side. This little down arrow gives me an idea of what's available to me, and I might select this real nice 3D shaped button. I click there. The green is okay, but I might want to choose a brown, so I might go to the Shape Fill and choose a darker brown, which would look good with my program. Simply click that color. The outline looks good, but I could change the outline to something different if I chose to. Like maybe I'll choose this darker brown. Now I've got a button color that I really like, but the text is awfully small. So what I want to do is left click on the outside of the button if you haven't done so already. Make sure it's a solid line all around. And I'm going to come up here to the Home tab. And in the Home tab, I'm going to choose a font that I like. I usually choose Arial Rounded Bold because I like it, but you could choose anything that looks good to you. I click on that. Then I'm going to hover down and see what size would look good. Maybe on 24, I like that. I'm going to click that. Now I have a button that has the text I want or the color I want and the size text that I need. My final task is to resize the button. I think it's a little bit wide. So I come to one of the handles on the side of the graphic. I'm going to take this bottom left one. I left click and hold it and just kind of adjust it where I think it might look good. The button is now resized exactly where I want it, and I'm ready to go with a button with a link to California. Next, what I want to do is create another button that looks just like this. Well, I can easily duplicate this button by the copy-paste method. There's a number of ways, but as you might recall, my favorite way is to hold the Control key down and then I left-click and just pull down and put the button about where I want it and let go. And it makes an instant copy of that button. Now in my case, there's two things I need to do. First of all, I need to fix the text. Go to California should now say go to Florida, so I just left-click and highlight that. Type in Florida. The next thing I need to fix is the actual hyperlink. Remember, this one above had a hyperlink to California, so I have to create this one a hyperlink to Florida. If I did nothing, this would also have a hyperlink to California because it would carry it with it. So I simply right-click on the edge of the button, and now you'll see it say Edit Hyperlink because it already has a hyperlink. I click that. It's already in the section where I need to be. You'll notice I also didn't have to hit bookmark this time. And I select the slide Florida. I click OK, and now this button is linked to go to the Florida page. Now I'm going to show you one final trick. Let's say I created all these buttons to go to the different areas in my PowerPoint project. They're all linked to the proper pages. But you'll notice the buttons are kind of out of alignment and out of shape. And I could manually drag them around by left-click and hold and drag. But there's a quick way to do this. If you hold the Shift or the Control key down, you just click each individual button and let it highlight as such. Now if you're not already, make sure you're on the Home tab up above. And in this drawing section, you'll see a button called Arrange. Hit the small drop-down arrow, and you can align all the buttons, and we're going to say align them left, and that makes sure they're all aligned left. Then I'm going to come back up and go Arrange, and under Align, I'm going to make sure they're distributed vertically. When I click that, notice all my buttons lined up very nicely without me hardly having to do any work. Now finally, I have all my buttons aligned exactly where I want them on the page, but I'd like these on each of the state pages. So again, I'm going to hold the Shift or Control down. I just click each button, and I'm also going to include the Quit button, and then I'm going to do a Control C. You could also do a right-click copy or whatever is the easiest way for you to copy those buttons. Now I'm going to come over to the left, and I'm going to go to the first state slide, which is California. Just click on that, and then I do a Control V, and watch how the buttons line up exactly where I want them. Go to the next slide, Ohio, and I just do the same thing on each state slide until every state slide has all the buttons and all the links that I desire. So let's take a look and see what we have. I created a original page to start with, but now I have all these buttons on the right. And I can go to any particular state by just simply clicking on that button. But notice every state has a button. So if I'm in California and I click Go to California, it's linked to the California page, so it's really not going to go anywhere. Go to Ohio, I'm right there. And if I click Quit, I can click and I have a button to click here and, or I can go back to any of the states. And there you have buttons with links.